I quietly earned millions for my son. I prepared him a secure future. But when he told me he saw me as a failed woman, I realized it was time to teach him what real life was about. If this story finds you, please subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. This isn't just a story. This is a lesson. My name is Carol. I'm 55 years old, and until last month's events, I thought I was a successful mother in my child's eyes. But the truth was much more complex. Sometimes our greatest achievements are the quietest ones, and sometimes our children mistake that silence for weakness. When I got pregnant at 25 as a single woman, the world looked very dark. David's father disappeared when he learned I was pregnant. My family wasn't very supportive either. "Your choice, you deal with it," they said. So I started. I founded a very small consulting firm from my home's basement. While raising David, I worked nights. After he went to sleep, I did accounting for my small clients, tax work for small businesses, accounting consulting. Very little money, but it was enough. Enough for David's needs. As the years passed, my business grew. More clients, more responsibilities, but I tried to be there for David. I went to every school meeting. I watched every basketball game. I spent time with him every vacation. I was trying to be a successful mother. As David grew up, I tried to talk to him about the company, but he wasn't very interested. "Mom, you do small accounting," he'd say. "I want to do big things." After finishing university, he entered the tech sector. He started working at a startup in San Francisco. I quietly continued growing the company. I hired more employees. I acquired bigger clients. The company became one of the largest accounting and consulting firms in Oregon. But I didn't tell David about these things, because he was charting his own path, living his own successes. When David's life in San Francisco got difficult, I quietly supported him. When credit card debts accumulated, I anonymously paid them. When he had trouble with his apartment rent, I sent money to his account. "I borrowed from a friend," I'd explain. He didn't question it either. When the startup failed, David came home, to Portland, to me. He was 30 years old now, but still trying to build his life. I took him into my home, tried to support him. But every day, I noticed he was seeing me through different eyes. "Mom, haven't you ever accomplished anything big?" he asked one day. "Always small jobs, always the same routines. Haven't you ever had big dreams?" These words broke my heart, because I had big dreams, and I had achieved many of them too, but I hadn't told him. In the 6 months David lived with me, I tried to help him find work, but he was constantly complaining. Portland was too small, opportunities were limited, people were unvisioned, he said, and I patiently listened, tried to support him. But we were growing apart every day. David had started seeing me as a woman who had never accomplished anything in life, with small thoughts, and I felt this too. Last month, the evening David returned from a job interview, everything changed. He said the interview went badly. The company owner didn't like him. "There are no visionary people in this city, Mom," he said. "They all think small. You do too. Small jobs, small lives. You never took big risks, never achieved big successes." David: "No, Mom, let's talk facts. You were a good mother to me, yes, but you never accomplished anything big. You always played it safe. Look at me, at least I had big dreams. Maybe I failed, but at least I tried." These words wounded me deeply, because I had big dreams too, and I had succeeded. "Maybe I should build my own life now," David said. "You can be happy here with your small business, but I'm going to do bigger things." "Okay," was all I could say. "And Mom, I need to say this too. I don't want help from you anymore. This dependency situation makes me feel small. I'm a grown man. I should be able to stand on my own feet. I understand. If you really love me, stop this constant protectiveness. I'm not a burden, but your constant wanting to help makes me feel like a burden. Burden. He had used that word. That night, David went to bed early. I stayed alone in the living room, thinking about his words. You never accomplished anything big. You always played it safe. You can be happy with your small business? If only he knew. If only he knew the truth. I got up early the next morning. I made my coffee, went to my office. I said to my secretary, Jenny, bring me the files I prepared for David. Jenny was surprised. Which files, Carol? The job files I had prepared for him. The position I was going to give him at the company. But I thought you hadn't told him anything? I hadn't. But now it's time. I texted David to come to the office. I want to have a business discussion, I said. He came too. Maybe he thought I was going to help him find a job. When he entered my office, he saw the files waiting on the desk. Mom, what is this? David, sit down. I need to tell you some things. David sat down, looking at me curiously. You said last night that I never accomplished anything big. Mom, I didn't mean to hurt. Listen to me. Do you know Carroll and Associates consulting firm? Of course. The biggest accounting firm in Oregon. Why are you asking? I own that company. David's expression changed. Surprise, then doubt. What do you mean? Carroll and Associates. Carroll is me. That small consulting firm I started in our basement 30 years ago is now a company with 200 employees and an annual revenue of $50 million. David tried to open his mouth, but no sound came out. And David, you said last night that I never took risks. Here are the files I had prepared for you. I showed the files. I was planning to give you a position at the company. Assistant Administrative Director? $120,000 annual salary, when you were ready. This isn't possible. Very possible. And David, have you ever wondered how your credit card debts were paid? Or the rent assistance in San Francisco? David's color drained. I paid them. From the company's profits, because you're my son. Because I love you. Mom? But last night you said you saw me as a burden? That you saw me as a failure. David stood up. Mom, I didn't know. You never said. I didn't say because I wanted you to live your own successes. I wanted you to chart your own path, but you became condescending toward me. I wasn't condescending. Just. David, look at these files. I showed the papers on the desk. This company's financial situation. This employee count. This client list. This success story. All of it is mine. David took the files in his hands, started flipping through the pages. His eyes widened. $50 million revenue? Yes. 200 employees? Yes. And you? You never said anything? Because I thought like you did too. I thought big successes required showing off, but I learned that the biggest successes are the quiet ones. David sat down, looking at the files in his hands. Mom, I said terrible things. You did. You're my mother. You raised me, and you saw me as a burden. You saw me as a failure. David started crying, real tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. David, sorry isn't enough. What do you mean? You said last night that you don't want help from me anymore, that you want to stand on your own feet. Yes, but then stand. I'm withdrawing this job offer. David looked at me in shock. Mom, please. And David, since you saw me as a burden, I won't provide you any financial support anymore. Take care of yourself. Mom, You can't do this? I didn't know. Your not knowing wasn't the problem, David. Your condescending toward me was the problem. Your seeing me as a failure was the problem. I stood up, took another file from the desk. What's this too? David asked. The inheritance file I prepared for you? Half of the company was yours. Not anymore. David's mouth fell open. You didn't want to be a burden. You wanted to be independent. Now you're truly independent. Mom, please. I misunderstood. You're an incredible woman. I'm an idiot. Yes, you're an idiot. And now it's time for this idiot to face the consequences. David stood up, approached me. Mom, I love you very much. You're my hero. Last night I was your burden. No! That was just... I was disappointed. I hated myself. And I projected that onto you. David, your disappointment isn't my problem. Your failures aren't my problem. And now your financial situation isn't my problem either. Mom, don't do this. I'll change. Quote. You're 30 years old, David. Time for change has long passed. That day when David left the office, his eyes were red. I also stayed alone in my office, wondering if what I did was right. Jenny came in. Carol, is everything okay? Jenny, remove David's name from all company files. He no longer owns anything related to this company. Are you sure? Very sure. When I went home that evening, David was waiting in the living room. Mom, I need to talk to you. There's not much to talk about, David. There is. I thought a lot today. You're an incredible businesswoman, and I didn't see this. Your not seeing wasn't the problem. Your being condescending was the problem. You're right. I was condescending toward you, and there's no excuse for that. David stood up, approached me. Mom, if I lose you, nothing remains in my life. You're my only real family. Last night, I was your burden. No, you're the source of my pride. You always were. I saw the regret in David's eyes, but his pride was also broken. David, you need to learn something. Don't judge people by their appearances. I seemed like someone quiet, doing small jobs to you. But in reality, I had accomplished much bigger things than you could imagine. I know now, and I'm very ashamed. David, your shame isn't enough. You couldn't understand my value. I worked quietly for 30 years, prepared you a secure future, but you saw me as a failure. Mom, I was so stupid. I didn't know you. Your not knowing me wasn't the problem, David. Your not trying to know me was the problem? David sat down, buried his face in his hands. What can I do? How can I make amends? David, some things can't be made up for, but some things can be learned. What do I need to learn? Respect. Before you look down on people, try to know them, especially people who love you. I'll learn. And one more thing, David. Success doesn't have to be showy. The biggest successes are the quiet ones. I understand. We stayed quiet for a while. Then David asked, Mom, will you give me a second chance? David, this isn't about chances. This is about trust. How can I regain your trust? David, you first learn to stand on your own feet. Find a job, earn your own money, be independent, truly independent. But Mom, no buts, David. This is what you wanted. You didn't want help from me anymore. You wanted to take care of yourself. I did, but then do it. Go, find a job, build your own life, and one day, when you've truly grown up, maybe we'll talk. David started crying again. Mom, I don't want to lose you. You already lost me, David. Last night, the moment you saw me as a burden. No, I didn't mean it like that. But you said it. And words have consequences. That night, David went to bed early. I stayed alone in the living room thinking. Making this decision was hard. Very hard. Because I loved him. But sometimes love means making difficult decisions. The next day, I saw David packing his things. "Where are you going?" "I'll stay at my friend's house." "You're right, Mom. I should stand on my own feet." "Good. And Mom, when I find a job, I'll come to you. Not to apologize, to show you my respect." David left home that day. As he was leaving, he hugged me tightly. "Mom, I always loved you. But I lacked respect. Now I have both." A week later, David found a job at an accounting firm. Entry-level, but honest work. He called to tell me, "Mom, I found a job. Congratulations." "And Mom, I'll say one more thing. I understand now how hard it is to take care of yourself." Good. A month later, David invited me to dinner. We met at a small restaurant. "Mom, this meal is from me? With my own money. Thank you." Throughout the meal, we talked. David told me about his days at work, his difficulties, what he learned. "Mom, you did all this alone for 30 years, and you never complained. Complaining wouldn't have solved anything. You're a real fighter." At the end of the meal, David gave me something. A small, heavy box. "What is this?" "Open it." Inside was a gold necklace. It said, "Best Mom" on it. "David, this looks very expensive. I worked 3 months for this. I saved every penny. Because you deserve it." My eyes filled with tears. "David." "Mom, I never saw you as a burden. I just projected my own failure onto you. You're my hero. You always were." "David, and Mom, one more thing. I understand now why you didn't talk to me about the company. Because you wanted to raise me strong. You wanted me to succeed on my own. It was true. That's exactly how it was. But I misused this strength. I used it to look down on you. David, the past is past. What matters is now. Now I understand you. And I respect you. You're not just my mother. You're also my role model." After that evening, everything slowly returned to normal. David built his own life. I focused on the company. But now we had a different bond between us. A bond based on respect. 6 months later, David got promoted. He called to tell me, "Mom, I got promoted to assistant manager. Congratulations. I'm very proud." "Mom, I want to ask something. Is the position you offered me at the company still available?" I paused. I was expecting this question. "David, why do you want it?" "Because you're my mother. And I want to work beside you. I want to learn what you'll teach me." "David, this won't be easy. I'm a very tough boss at the company." "I know, and I'm ready for it. And I won't give you special treatment. You'll work like other employees." "I want that." "Okay, come talk to Human Resources on Monday." David came to the company that Monday. His first day was very exciting. He visited me in my office. Carol." He smiled. "This place is very impressive." "David, here you're not my son. You're an employee." "I understand." "And David, one more thing. This company is my life's work. If you damage it, our family bond won't save you. I won't damage it. On the contrary, I want to add value to it." David worked very well at the company. 3 months later, he completed his first big project. The client was very satisfied. "Mom, Carol, thank you." "For what?" "For giving me this chance. And more importantly, for teaching me what life is about." "You learned, David." "I just showed the way." A year later, David's performance was so good that I actually made him assistant administrative director. This time, deservedly. Now David works at the company. He learns and grows every day. And I teach him what it means to accomplish big things quietly. Last week he told me, "Mom, you gave me the biggest lesson. Success isn't about showing off, it's about character." And you learned this lesson. Thanks to you. Know David through your own efforts. Now, David is a different person. Humble, hardworking, respectful. And most importantly, he truly knows me. Sometimes he asks me, "Mom, don't you ever regret it? For kicking me out of the house?" No, David, it was my most correct decision because you found your true character. "I'm proud of you," he says. "I'm proud of you too." This story is an instructive story. When our children look down on us, we must show them the truth. But while doing this, we must also help them grow. David is now one of the company's most valuable employees, and most importantly, he's the son I'm most proud of. Sometimes the biggest successes are the quiet ones, and sometimes the biggest lessons are the hardest ones. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share your own stories in the comments. Your voice matters.